Hello. Let's talk bootstraps. I started thinking about this and I wanted to share something that I noticed in the I don't even know if it's something that I heard recently, but it's something that it's a narrative that I've heard several times. And the more I thought about it, and I thought about the rebuttal to the narrative, I thought, you know what? All of it's wrong. None of it's true. So I wanted to share this with you, and I'd love to get your input on what you think about it, okay? How often have you heard the narrative, they need to pull themselves up by their own bootstraps? Think about it. Have you ever heard that? Have you ever said that to someone because you've accomplished some things or you've done some things? So anyone that hasn't accomplished the same things quite possibly needs to do more. That's what you're insinuating when you use that phrase. Pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. Hold that thought. Have you ever said, or have you ever seen or heard someone say, especially in social media, have you ever heard someone say, they're telling people, they being whoever made the narrative, whoever said, pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. They're telling people to pull themselves up by their own bootstraps when some people don't even have boots. Have you ever heard that before? Right. The narrative and the rebuttal are both wrong. First of all, let's go into some definitions, shall we? I took notes. Hold on. The definition for bootstraps is to get oneself or something into or out of a situation using existing resources. I'll read it again. To get oneself or something into or out of a situation using existing resources. Now, before you say, right, Sabrina, that's what I'm saying. Everyone doesn't have the same resources. Hold right there. Wait one moment. Let's define resources. Now, there's several different definitions for resources. Let me share the one that I think is most relative in our topic. Hold on. The definition for resources that I'm using here is an action or strategy which may be adopted in adverse circumstances. What was that, Sabrina? Yep. Give me a second. I'll say it again. I'll read that again for you. Resources is an action or strategy which may be adopted in adverse circumstances. That basically means, and here's my debunking part, everyone can pull themselves up by their own bootstraps. Everyone has boots and bootstraps. You're doing it all the time. You're always pulling yourself up by your own bootstraps. All of us are. Anytime we face a challenge and we start being human beings, like heat-seeking missiles, we start looking for solutions. It may take some a little longer than others, but you're built that way. You're built to find solutions. I don't even think bootstraps is tangible. It's your mind. It's what you use. It's your character trait, your characteristics, your traits, your knowledge. It's everything about you that you use to problem solve. Hold on. If we combine the definition I gave you for bootstrap plus the definition I've given for resources, you, me, everyone around you, You have gotten yourself into or out of a situation using an existing action or strategy which was adopted in adverse circumstances. That's the two definitions combined. You do it all the time. So no one should be able to ruffle your feathers by saying pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, because them even saying that shows lack of knowledge of what it means. We all face challenges. We all come up with ways to overcome our challenges. What we use are tools. Where the solution starts is between your ears. That's where it starts. Again, some may start sooner than others. Some jump right into action. Others have to process, take a little longer to process. That's fine. But you already have the tools you need to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. You do it all the time. Don't believe me? Hold on. Everyone has a rags to riches story. Even if you're not rich, even if you don't think you're rich right now, everyone has a story. Everyone has a story. Everyone has the challenge that they overcame. We pay all of the great public speakers or motivational speakers big bucks because they start with their story. They start with their rags to riches story. The started from the bottom, now we're here story. The I didn't know how I was going to make it through story. But I did story. We all have it. Hold on again. Everyone has overcome a challenge. If you can just take a moment and just go through all of the challenges you've ever dealt with. Job loss, foreclosure. What about bankruptcy? Family problems, health scare, loss of a loved one, divorce. The list goes on and on. How did you get yourself out of those situations using an existing action or strategy? What did you do? In the example of losing a loved one, at some point you may have realized, you know what, I have been mourning the loss of this person for a long time. Maybe I'll look into meditation. Maybe I need to, you know what, I have insurance. Maybe my insurance will cover counseling. Maybe I need counseling. I've been really dealing with this for a minute now. I think it might be going in the opposite direction. I don't think I'm grieving anymore. Now I think it's something else going on. Or maybe I'll volunteer. I'll do some volunteering to kind of take my mind off of me. Maybe to take my mind off of all of the grieving, all of the loss. Maybe I can pour something into someone else. That would be an example of how you got yourself out of a situation. Now let's go into how you may have gotten yourself into a situation using existing resources. Loss of a job. You got the next job by thinking, maybe, you know what, I'm going to go through my LinkedIn friends everyone on LinkedIn. I'm going to reach out and see if any of them know if their companies are hiring right now. There's a couple of networking events I can go to. I think I'll go. There's one this Friday. I'll go to a networking event and see if I can meet somebody and possibly find out if their company's hiring. I think I'm going to look at my resume and freshen it up a bit. And through looking at my resume, I find that there's a whole other industry that I hadn't even considered that I could work in. Wow. And through these steps, you get yourself into the next job. Your bootstraps is everything inside of you that you use to resolve conflict, that you use to resolve issues. It's your problem-solving stuff. It's everything in you that solves problems. Those are your bootstraps. It's not even tangible. You do it without even thinking. You know what? I don't have coffee in the house. What in the world am I going to I should have enough time to stop by the grocery store on my way home to grab coffee. And many times you can't even see that you've pulled yourself up by your own bootstraps because you're so busy solving the problem. You have an issue, you have the situation. Now you're trying to think through how to resolve it. Now you're implementing a couple different things, existing resources. You're trying a couple different things. Now that you're trying a couple different things, oh my goodness, I'm out of that. And now it's something else I'm into. So many times it takes looking back, which is what I'm asking you to do now. I'm asking you to look back over your life and all of the challenges you've ever had. This will be a huge boost in self-confidence to see how much you've already gotten through, how much you've already overcome. Yes, you have boots. Yes, you can pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. You do it all the time. So, LOL, anyone else that ever says they need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. And LOL, the person saying, there are some people without boots. No, everyone has boots. Everyone has the ability to pull themselves up by their own bootstraps. And all of us do it all of the time. Thank you so much for joining me. Have an expectant day.